Tate Schoolers, welcome to another great episode of Tate School of Fitness Corner podcast. And on today's episode, we have Miss Ashley McCoy. She's the CEO and founder of the Brand New You Company. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you, Troy?
I'm good. So I want to start. What actually gave you because I feel like with entrepreneurs, things come to us where we feel like this is what the world needs. What happened when you said, I need to start this company to help others expand their brands?
Well, I spent 20 years in banking, and my latter part of banking, I was in the business and commercial space. So I worked with businesses that were in that $1 to $10 million revenue range. But what I noticed, there was a great disparity when it came to minority businesses, particularly African American businesses. So when I met people that were in business, entrepreneurs that looked like me, what I found from them was either I could not help them because it was credit challenges, it was financial challenges such as not filing tax returns, financial statements. So I wanted to provide initially financially feasible solutions to help entrepreneurs with this focus on entrepreneurs that look like me to start, develop, and grow their businesses the right way in a financially feasible manner.
Okay. Yeah, because it is true. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't have systems. We were talking about that earlier. We have systems in place to be able to grow our business. We want to grow our business, and we say that we need funding, and we try to go get funding, but if you don't have a system in place, nobody's going to give you any money.
Right.
Because they can't see where you're going. They can't see where you actually, where's the growth at? Where is this company going to be in the next couple of years? So that's very smart. And with you actually coming out and starting this company, how have you seen what you do? How has it actually helped other individuals grow that look like us?
Well, I want to say, just like any entrepreneur, I had my setbacks too.
Mm-hmm.
I can recall starting the business originally in 2015 on my dad's birthday. Actually, July 21st, 2015, I started the company, but it was kind of, as my son say, it was a side hustle. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't intended to be that, but we worked these jobs and these careers, and we kind of put our dreams to the back burner. So over time, what kind of elevated me was last year, COVID. Yeah. So last year, I remember, working from home due to me being high risk with asthma. And my son told me, he said, Mom, this is an opportunity for you to capitalize on your business. Step up your social media and actually really focus in on what you do. And the things that I really focus in on, although we focus on the comprehensive view of the business, we focus really in on business and marketing strategies. So to actually put businesses in a place where financially they can win and helping them develop marketing strategies so that they can grow and attract the kinds of customers that they want to. So last year was a pivotal point because I went full speed ahead and said, I'm not gonna let anything distract me. And last year we also, just expanded our territory and expanded our product offering. And so when I'm able to see business owners have their show income on a tax return, or we're able to show positive income on a profit and loss statement, or when business owners say, hey, I'm ready to purchase a building, being able to assist them with that, because now we have a commercial loan broker relationship, so we can actually assist business owners from start to finish with starting a business, developing a financial statement, preparing those financial documents, and now assisting them with getting the lending that they need to be able to purchase what their business needs to grow. So, seeing those things happen, and particularly in our communities, means so much to me.
Yeah, because that's big. The simple fact of, again, having relationships to receive funding for commercial property is huge. And the fact that just even alone that you put them in a place where they can have paperwork, because a lot of people don't realize how important that is. Yes. To have the paperwork where you can pull it up, you can touch it, it's accessible. But in business, that's what it's all about. If you can't show the numbers, then what are we doing? So the service that you provide those individuals, I'm pretty sure they understand what it is, but could you tell the schoolers how important that is to have that paperwork, and what's the difference between having it and not having it, and how you can grow with it, and how you can hinder your business?
Well, one of the things I always tell clients when I talk to them, I say, is it a hobby or is it your business? And I said, if it's your business, I need you to conduct business as business. So a lot of times you have entrepreneurs that are reluctant because money. They're like, oh, I don't want to put this in, I don't want to do that. So I tell them, I said, I always catch them here. I'm always kind of take the approach that you take, Troy, with when you train your clients. I'm trying to prepare you and train you, so if in essence you want to do it yourself, you can.
Yep.
So I provide the knowledge first and foremost. So when I'm sitting down with the client that's just starting, I go through the process and say, hey, you've decided on your entity, let's set that up. Okay, now what kind of financial tracking are you doing? Are you doing bookkeeping? Are you going to do QuickBooks? Are you going to do things yourself? And then while we're kind of getting those things established, we talk about setting up the business plan that we do. We talk about the marketing plan. We talk about having these things in place, because what I'm always able to go back to is when they come to me and say, I want to apply for a grant or I need a loan, and I'll show them the list of requirements. I said, you see what it says here? You need to have, if you're LLC, you need to have your articles of organization. If you're applying for this grant, now they want to know, have you made any money? You need your profit and loss statement. They want to see your tax returns. And if you're doing anything SBA related or community related, now they want to see that business plan. They want to know, we know where you are, but they want to know where you're headed.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, I don't have to preach so much when I have entrepreneurs that kind of know what they want. It's the ones that kind of, I have to guide a little bit, and they don't understand what they need until we actually hit that bump in the road.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately that happens to more people are on the end of where they wait till something happens they react instead of being proactive. In business, you got to be proactive, because if you reactive, then that can cost you a lot of opportunities, because you don't know until you know. That's why they need to actually hire individuals like yourself, because I get it if you don't know, but if you have heard these things, or someone that you know close who is an entrepreneur has encountered these same hiccups in the road, you should try to be proactive and not just wait and try to get away with it. Because I know a lot of individuals who do their business as just cash only, under the table. I say, well, I'm not gonna make it, I'm not gonna register my business with the state, or I'm not gonna pay taxes. But then again, say if your business grow and it explodes, you can't bring on other individuals because you don't have anything. And again, I keep saying that because I know individuals operate like that right now. And I'm just like, you can't do that. You have to make sure that you're legit, because if you're not, you're gonna cost yourself more money in the end.
I agree. I mean, this year, I've run across so many individuals, particularly Black men, that have not filed taxes in years. And that was so startling to me that, a lot of it was lack of education, or what you say because I teach accounting too, so explain it to my accounting students that most businesses are not cash businesses. I said, most businesses are not your candy lady, where you say, here's my piece of candy, here's $1. I said, so most people feel like, well, I can't afford employees. I said, but you're paying someone. That's when you get with somebody, a professional, to tell you how to structure your business, to think about, do I need a contractors or employees? So all of that makes sense when properly setting up your business and deciding, talk to someone. I tell people, I said, 9 times out of 10, the advice that you're getting for your business is tax deductible. So seek a professional, because you pay for what you don't know. My dad has always said that, you pay for what you don't know.
That's very true. And again, a lot of us didn't grow up in houses that preach entrepreneurship, so we don't know a lot. So therefore, you need to pay for what you don't know and research. And it's fine. Again, like, it's okay not to know, but you definitely need to make sure that you you pay for these services. You can't always get around the fact of not paying people to get things done. Besides, it actually cuts time out, because one thing that as entrepreneurs, what we don't have is a lot of time. So if you pay people to help speed up certain things or allow you to have more time doing certain things, then that is such a blessing. That is huge. So I always say I have no problem paying someone to do something that I don't know. And from my website, I had to pay somebody to do that, because I was like, oh, I figured it out. And I sat there for an entire year trying to figure it out. And I was like, I could just pay someone.
Time is money.
Exactly. So I just ended up paying someone, because I was like, that didn't make any sense. You can't cut corners on that. So 2020 was really, last year was when your business exploded. Since then, since your business has picked up tremendously since last year, what have you had to let go in your life as far as work? Because I know that you're working, you're teaching, you're this, that, and third, but what did you have to let go? Because I know if your business picked up, you couldn't keep the old life, you had to get a new life.
Well, I always tell people when they ask me, what do you do? I say I always have like 5 jobs. And they was like, no, I said no. I teach, which has always been my purpose. I'm still a student, working on my dissertation in marketing. And then recently, what most people don't know is that I left Delta Airlines, and that was probably one of the hardest professional decisions I've had to make. But I knew the direction that my business was going and where I was going with my purpose of teaching. And you know, when I think about teaching, it's not just teaching, you know, on a post-secondary level, but being able to expand my brand to teach in settings where we're actually teaching entrepreneurs how to start their business, or teaching them marketing related skills and strategies. I knew I had to kind of really reel into my purpose and my passion and the direction the business was going. I recently just did a blog talking about that bridge, you know, that bridge on your way to full-time entrepreneurship, and making sure that bridge is something that aligns with your purpose and what your business is doing. And I teach marketing, which aligns with my business. So I think being able to teach marketing keeps me on the cutting edge to be able to help clients with marketing strategies, marketing plans, because I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly growing, and 2, being able to expand that knowledge in the classroom to help my students to gain valuable employment so they can become marketers, or the ones that want to be entrepreneurs. So I really had to let go of that. Other things, my personal life, your personal life, you have to cut back. You know, 2020 was also a year my son started college. So with him going away to college, I was able to get some of that time and reinvest some of that time back into the business. But I realized, you know, now what people laugh about, I operate on an electronic calendar. So everything is scheduled, even down to the time I have for myself is scheduled, because when you were, you know, trying to juggle all these balls and making sure, you know, you don't miss anything, I have to make sure I operate on a calendar. Another thing that I've really gotten back into, where I realized the thing that I was putting on hold was me, is making sure I go to bed at a certain time. So I'm making sure I get proper rest, you know, meal prep, because I realized my mental health is so important, and my mental and emotional health. So if I'm not good, I can't be good to help my clients or to train new employees to be able to help the clients. So I had to go back recently to make sure now, okay, I'm in bed at a certain time, I'm making sure eating healthier, just making time for exercise, those kind of things, because I realized if I don't have those in place, I can't do my business successfully.
Absolutely, and that's so true. With just being able to go through your daily routine, your active, whatever you do during the day, exercise, and make sure that you eat, make sure that you rest, which is so important, because a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't rest. We don't rest properly, we don't sleep. The mind is always ripping and running, and you try to, it takes a lot to calm that mind down, you know, meditating, things of that nature to help calm that mind, because if you're a creative person, you're always thinking about what's next.
Yes.
How to marketing, how I'm going to get this roll this out, how this idea is going to work. If it doesn't work, what do I have to back that idea up with? Things like that. So I get it. I think most entrepreneurs, we do operate on kind of the same level when it comes to that, about trying to get enough rest and cutting that mind off and whatnot. And you mentioned, I want to go back because you mentioned mental health, just making sure that your mental health is good, and why that is so important. And on the show, of course, we talk about health, we talk about physical and mental health. And with 2020, what other habits did you pick up other than the meal prepping and sleeping? Did you do anything else to help with your mental health last year?
Well, last year, I would say, before I really dove back into my business, I was kind of just stagnant, because we didn't know when things will open back up, what things look like. But at that time, I really went back to controlling what I can control. And that is when I said, well, I can no longer allow everyone else to have authority over me, over my business, my goals. I reclaim my goals. I won't lie and tell you, it took a tragedy. It took me losing my sister on September 8th of 2020 to really allow me to say, and me and her had talked about it ironically, and I told her, I said, hey, I'm gonna take this leave of absence, from Delta, because if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. But I really focused in on, and I always say this, living in my purpose and living my life on purpose. Not just existing, but making sure you live and making sure you're impactful. Last year, I started a nonprofit organization as well, to ensure that the brand new you and myself was always giving back, because there are people that may not be in a financial situation to be able to afford, but being able to prepare them with knowledge-based things like that. So I reinvested in the community and reinvested my plan on how can I give back, because we're not gonna always be quarantined. How can I give back, and how can I create a platform and use my voice to help others? So that tremendously helped me to move forward. So when you gave up some of your own, your personal desires, and realized, life is so much bigger than just Ashley.
Yeah. And that's important. Always giving back. I feel like that's one aspect that a lot of entrepreneurs miss out on. I know we trying to make a living. We trying to make sure that we follow our passions and be able to provide for our families. But I think one of the most important elements of all of it is the fact that you can give back in a way that it may not be always financially. It may not be financial, but it could be just time, teaching, which I think is very important, because a lot of times it's the lack of knowledge that individuals don't have. They don't have the knowledge. And with you having the knowledge to be able to share that, I think that is very, very, again, that's important for us to give back to entrepreneurs just a little bit. You don't have to give the entire blueprint away, but just enough where they can get started and they can be successful if they put the time and effort into it. So I think, again, that's major, to look beyond yourself and know that it's bigger than just you and the nonprofit. What is the name of your nonprofit?
Well, the nonprofit is the Brand New You Entrepreneur and Leadership Academy. And so we just focus in on those two pillars. It's a build off of what the Brand New You do. The Brand New You is a comprehensive business resource company, but the Brand New You Entrepreneur and Leadership Academy focus on the basics. It focuses on building up new entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, and it that are predominantly in those low to moderate income areas and that are underserved. And then we have the Second Chance program that works on helping those young men. It's targeted to young men, particularly African American males that have been incarcerated, to come out and to develop leadership skills if they intend to go into a workforce, or to enhance those entrepreneurship skills to be able to own their own businesses. The thing that we're eventually looking to do with that is to partner with some of the technical colleges so that they can actually get a trade, and we can actually reinforce how to run a business if they want to be an entrepreneur, or how to be able to navigate as a leader starting at a certain level within an organization so that they don't reoffend and, go back and be a part of the system.
Yeah, absolutely. That again, that's major in itself because most of the time a lot of individuals don't have the opportunity for a second chance. Once they get in the system, they come out, they can't make a living, so they end up doing what got them in there in the first place.
Right.
So to set the organization up, I think that is definitely good. Hopefully, a lot of individuals are taking advantage of that. How would someone? How do you select the individuals that you're going to help, or is there anyone who walks up and say they want a second chance and want to?
Well, I'm partnering with a gentleman that has been through that and has been, on the other side, out and a part of society and working for over 5 years because, usually 5 years is that benchmark, but hasn't reoffended, and ultimately being able to hear his story, how he was basically in a situation where he was set up and had not had a record or anything, but was sentenced to 10 years. And, in a smaller town, so not having the knowledge in that situation, probably not having access to attorney, things like that, put him on that road. And though things could have been a little different, and some things, talking with him, he could have done different. He's on the other side and able to say, okay, here's where I am, and being able to resonate with some of the participants. So the goal with that is to kind of make sure we get the programming out, find out what they need, to do a good old marketing research experience, to make sure we are not just impressing upon our own desires, but some of the things they want to do outside of just your basics that you hear of. Or maybe some that stretch, say, hey, I want to be a graphic designer, or some things, I want to go into the funeral service industry or different industries, but making sure we can help reinforce that. But, with the organization, we're always looking for partners, donations, things of that. But in the fall, we will be launching more training. We will be doing an event to benefit the nonprofit organization as well.
Okay, very nice. And it's good to actually partner with someone who has been through it, so they know, and that that is going to, hopefully it will be successful, but then again, I'm sure it will be successful, but then again, that individual who has been through it, they can actually say, well, let's do this, let's do that, because this is where I was looking for help and I didn't receive it, So I think that's very important, and that's very, very smart of you to actually involve somebody who's been through it, because unfortunately, a lot of these nonprofits that try to start things for certain communities, and they don't have anybody on the board who has been through this. And that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because you're always gonna be an outsider.
Yes.
And you will be treated as such, and you may not have a full understanding of how this works, how this operates. To have someone who has been through it, I think that's very important. And I want to talk a little bit about, when did you start teaching accounting? When did you discover that teaching was your calling?
I can recall, I was, like I said, I was in banking for 20 years, but I can recall probably around 2007, I would hear people tell me all the time, man, you can teach, you can preach. They would kind of change the two. And they said, have you thought about teaching? And I remembered when I was graduating from Georgia State in '99, I remember right before I was graduating, it dawned on me I should teach. I had to, and I was like, man, I'm about to graduate, I'm not about to do this, I'm not about to do that. But I always believe that God brings you back to that place. And so, fast forward to 2007, 2008, and I remember people would tell me all the time, you should teach, you sound like a preacher, it resonates with you. And I remember saying, no, I don't want to go back to school, I'm not trying to go back to school right now. And I remember going to Simple Teachers Bible Church with Pastor Rufus Myers, he's from Augusta as well. And I remember him saying, people are just navigating, but have you prayed on your purpose? then you know your purpose. And he says, when you get it, you have to be ready for it. And I remember praying on it. God, what does my purpose tell me? And when God told me my purpose was to teach, instantaneously, like most people, when you feel you know something, you're on this path. And I remember being on this path, and I was thinking, okay, what do I want to teach? I knew at that point, I didn't want to teach K through 12, that I had a passion to teach adults, because I had, did financial literacy classes with the bank, did volunteer, things of that nature. And I remember thinking, my purpose was over here, and I'm here. How do I get from here to here?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember my sister would say, man, you know your purpose. I said, but that's the hard part. You know, and when you view yourself and when you see yourself, you're like, how am I going to get from A to B when B is over here? So for me, I remember I decided to go get my master's, because you hear, oh, you need a master's if you want to teach on the collegiate level. And so I got my master's, and I remember in that program, I always thrive when people tell me what I can't do, because I'm a spiritual being, so I believe God specializes. I know God specializes in the impossible. So my professor, he said to me, well, you're not gonna be able to teach unless you get your PhD, your doctorate. And I said, but I've been told you get your master's. Mm-hmm. And so at that point, my goal had become, I'm gonna teach with a master's degree. And so, I kind of prayed, and I came to Atlanta Tech, and I remember talking to the department chair of business management and marketing, Mr. Grant Harris. And he happened to be here. I just stopped in, and he was like, I would love to hire you, but I'm about to retire. Mm-hmm. So you got to meet this person. Mm-hmm. And at the time, we how we kind of ask for and pray for things, but my cup was too full with what I was doing. But I'm asking, I need to teach. So I remember he introduced me to Michelle Roach, who was going to be the department chair, and she said, be a part of our advisory committee. So I was on the marketing and management advisory team for years, through getting my master's. And I remember getting my master's, I was like, nobody's hiring me to teach, I want to teach. If I can teach, I'm gonna lead banking. I can teach, I'm gonna lead banking. That was always my thing. And what I did, I found opportunities to teach without knowing it. I would teach financial literacy classes, I would teach little marketing classes, business classes, just create my own platform, but it wasn't good enough for me, I thought. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, I want to teach, but my professor said, you can't teach without this. So I enrolled to get my doctorate. And once I kind of focused in on the purpose of teaching, not where I was teaching, because it was before I had to teach at college university, I started focusing in on teaching, just living on that journey to teach. Mm-hmm. And I remember when it was time for me to leave PNC Bank, I was at the top of my game, #1 in my division. I left, I took a leap of faith, I became a flight attendant, and the point of the flight attendant was to give me flexibility to start my business and to finish my degree. So you always look for bridges, that was a bridge at the time. And I remember coming back, I remember having a conversation with my son. My son always has a lot of wisdom, and he said to me, I remember I was going back to the gym, best shape of my life. And I would come home, and he said, Mom, did you leave banking to become a housewife? Mm-hmm. And I was a little offended. I said, what do you mean? He said, you're doing good with the workout, you're doing good with your food, but didn't you leave because you had another purpose? And I remember telling him, I said, well, you don't want to teach. Well, why aren't you teaching? That's what he said. I said, nobody's hiring me. He says, no one hiring you, or you're not looking? He said, you got to pursue that like a job. Mm-hmm. I mean, pursue that like you're applying for a job, or pursue that like you really want it. He was 14 at the time. Mm-hmm. And so I remember saying, he's right. And I came up here to Atlanta Tech, and I talked to the department chair, I started applying, all of that. And I remember in December, I had interviews for like 4 different colleges. For part-time, but had an interview. And then Atlanta Tech called me back to teach one class, which was business ethics, as an adjunct. So I flew and I taught, and I remember my spiritual mother telling me God was gonna bring me back to the place I started, which was Atlanta Tech. So over the time frame, being blessed with the opportunity to teach ethics and marketing, what I love, has brought me here. So I always tell people, don't give up on your goal, but sometimes, don't give up on your goals and dreams, but sometimes your dreams and goals manifest first, initially, in a direction you didn't think about. Mm-hmm. That path that you eventually want to go on, it'll open, but navigating your blessings and your giftings where you are. Master that first.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's what I kind of did. So when it came to teaching, I have a story about it, and I continue to find opportunities to teach, to mentor individuals. A lot of business I gained is from teaching and mentoring. People say, well, I entrust you with my business. So
yeah, absolutely. And that's amazing with the story and the fact that your son pushed you, because sometimes we start getting a lifestyle, like get comfortable,
yes,
and we forget sometimes what we're doing, you know, because being an entrepreneur is not easy. You know, a lot of people, they may make it look that way on social media, but it's not easy. And some of us, and sometimes, I done it myself, I done got in situations, had jobs, a 9-to-5 that was paying well, and I got comfortable and I forgot what I was doing. And it took some time to get back on track, because again, when that check come every 2 weeks, you know, you like, it's when you have to actually go out and get it as an entrepreneur, it's different. It's every day, it's a hunt. But when you have that check, that comfort, but that comfort also creates complacency and it kills dreams. So it's good to make sure that you stay hungry.
yes,
And sometimes I personally put myself in a situation where I stay hungry, because I know I have a decent 9-to-5 now, and I can easily just say, I won't do this anymore. I'm just gonna work. But I know inside I will be, and I hate to be dramatic, but I will be dying, because it's not what I wasn't put here to do that job. So I definitely get it, and thank goodness for your son. I mean, you would eventually got there, but it do take a little nudge sometimes for us to get back on track and get focused. If someone wants to, you know, they want your services, they want to hire you, how could they contact you?
Well, we're available on all social media platforms. I could not be a good marketer and a marketing professor without saying that, but we're on all social media platforms at The Brand New You Company. And the website is thebrandnewyoucompany.com. And for the nonprofit, we are TBNYELacademy.com and TBNY EL Academy on social media. But they can catch us there, and also you can catch me on TikTok, which was also my son's idea. Ashley, the business expert on TikTok. So we focus in on Monday, Money Monday or Marketing Monday, Wealth Wednesday, and Financial Friday, just to provide entrepreneurs with tips to navigate the financial, the marketing, and the wealth side of their business. So just a platform, just a minute. So usually with that, I always pray and ask God, what would you have me to say to people? Because I want it to be intentional, impactful, and something that you can use for your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more thing.
Yes.
What do you see yourself in 5 years with this?
Well, in 5 years from now, I will have my doctorate degree, and I will continue to teach on the collegiate level. I will have many publications. The Brand New You will be $1 million company, over $1 million company in 5 years, where we take a coach approach. So where we will have businesses that will have coaches, and they will actually have someone to navigate from the beginning, the middle, until they get to that point where we have to sometimes hand them off. But in most cases, we will be $1 million company, growing, increasing entrepreneurship, because quick statistics, even though Atlanta, particularly Atlanta, the city of Atlanta and Metro Atlanta is predominantly Black, with Atlanta being the city of Atlanta being having over 50% African American or Black population. Only 6.6% of the businesses within the city of Atlanta are actually Black owned. So to be able to increase that number among African American businesses, business owners, and to be able to kind of expand the diversity of our Hispanic business owners as well. So to be a multi-diverse company that can help businesses to start, develop, and to grow. But I will continue to be teaching in some capacity, continue writing, and continue to lead and head the Brand New You, a comprehensive business resource company.